Walt Disney, the entertainment behemoth that owns 80% of our nostalgia and will soon own our children's nostalgia as well. For almost a century, they've put out stacks on stacks on stacks of bangers. Some of those bangers even have bops. But when you consistently release top dollar content, some movies are bound to fade into obscurity. But one of those movies that I refuse to let that happen to is this underrated gem, Meet the Robinsons. Meet the Robinsons is a 2007 loose book adaptation of A Day with Wilbur Robinson, something I didn't know when I started making this video. Now, it wasn't a box office hit, actually underperforming, only earning $10 million more than the budget. But I think this is the most blasphemous thing that's ever happened in human history and proves that there is no God. But let's cool down and get into the meat and potatoes of this movie. Now, I'm gonna try, keyword try, to keep the plot run through quick and vague, as I want this video to be shorter than my usual movie reviews. I'm trying to keep my new videos under 10 minutes, and I want you guys to just watch this gem on its own instead of it being totally spoiled and dissected for you. Meet the Robinsons follows Lewis, an orphan genius who desires to find his mom and be adopted. He rooms with a kid, Goob, and keeps him up constantly with his scientific workings. During the science fair, a bowler hat guy sabotages his invention. In anger, he storms to the roof where he's kidnapped by Wilbur, a boy from the future, who takes him to the future. From there on out, shenanigans ensues as they crash the time machine. Lewis has to fix it, and throughout there, he meets the Robinsons. Oh my god. Bowler Hat Guy causes trouble, secrets are revealed, and evil is beaten. All ending in what might be the happiest ending I've ever seen in my entire life. Now, this movie isn't perfect, so let's get the negatives out of the way real quick. Lewis is kind of a bland character, but he does have some nice moments. The Robinsons, while there are an abundance of them and they're all very different and interesting, aren't that fleshed out as much as the title would lead you on, and I don't remember most of their names. Lastly is just the animation. Even for 2007, it's a little underwhelming. When it comes to the characters that aren't focused on or in the background, even sometimes when they're just like right next to them but they're not the focal point of the scene, they kind of look off. I mean, all of them are kind of like pasty face, kind of like no emotion behind the eyes type characters, but like they look weird. I don't know how to explain it. They also reuse a lot of faces. Like this one girl, I see her face on like 3 different characters. That's all. See that? Real quick. One thing that this movie perfected to a T was the world it created. It is an amazingly colorful, bright, and creative world, and I very much enjoy the contrast between the future, the past, and the Doris world, which has just loads going on in the background, which makes the world feel full. And one thing with the lack of like lack of quality with the character models, a lot of them are just kind of in the background or small when you look at like an overview shot. And I think that was a very smart thing to do because it makes the world seem full but doesn't make you be like, oh, that kind of looks bad. Now, for a time traveling kids movie, they could have easily disregarded any laws or timeline rules and just made this a plot hole mess. Instead, the movie has and follows very simple rules. Change the past, change the future. Simple but effective, as it plays into the climax of Doris, Bowler Hat Guy's hat, enslaving the world, and Lewis saving it. Personally, I think the resolution was quick but really smart, because it didn't end in a big fight. Just one sentence that saved the day, and it totally made sense. All he did was say, I'm not going to build you, and everything was solved. And I really liked how smart that was. Another thing that comes with the time travel plot is that when watching it, the reveals and secrets all kind of hit crazy as you see why Lewis needs to hide his hair and why Bowler Hat Guy hates him so much.
Hey Goop, what's up? Cool binder.
Hey Goop, wanna come over to my house today?
They all hated me.
You can also notice things in the past that play into the future, from the literal first scene to the very last. It's just really impressive and great attention to detail. It's one of the better time travel plots that I've seen, and I've seen Hot Tub Time Machine. Yeah. The pacing is also very nice, with the exception of one food fight scene that I still don't really understand why it happened. And it doesn't drag the movie to 2 hours, like some do, for no reason.
But Nathan, you say, what about the characters that are fleshed out? How are they?
Honestly, they're pretty good. Starting with Lewis, though I did find him a tad stale at some points, I love how throughout the movie he learns what the main phrase, keep moving forward means, as he moves past the desire of finding his mom and sees his errors throughout the movie. I also get his frustration with science as it keeps him from getting adopted and continues to fail. It's a very rewarding and satisfying arc that they give him. Moving to another character who couldn't move on, we have Bullhead Guy, also known as Goop. For one thing, he's the funniest character as his schemes fail and his anger festers. However, I also feel the most bad for him out of anyone in this movie, as he wasted, I would say, about 40 years plotting revenge and sulking, only to be betrayed and left alone. Thankfully, he does get a happy ending, just like our boy Lewis. Lastly is the best character, Wilbur. He is the most energetic, likable, and charismatic character in this movie, also the second funniest.
Did it!
He doesn't have much of an arc though, besides fixing his mistake, but without him, this movie would be so much worse. There was also like a 99% chance that he wouldn't exist if this all worked out, which they kind of just said once and then just didn't bring up again. So I guess you could say he's pretty noble too. Other characters that I enjoyed but don't have much to say about are Franny, Bud, Lucille, Stanley, and this frog who has the best line in maybe in movie history. Probably.
Well, it's just that there's a million people over there, and I have little arms. I'm just not so sure how well this plan was thought through.
Is Meet the Robinsons a masterpiece? Yes. It's charming, creative, fun, funny, heartwarming, and I cried at the end. The message of the movie, keep moving forward, is one that I often don't see in kids' movies nowadays, and I think it's kind of a shame. Showing kids that things won't always go their way or go right, and to push on is a great and vital message to teach them at a young age, and it's just a shame no movies have this. But it's a good thing there's a great movie to teach them that lesson. Now, this isn't a movie I'm likely to randomly sit down and watch by myself, but you can bet your bottom dollar booty that I'm showing this movie to my kids because I think it's a pretty good movie. And by pretty good, I mean perfect. And I think as Disney movies go, it's one that flew under the radar due to its box office bomb. But if you really rewatch it again, I think you'll thoroughly enjoy it. Just like you enjoyed this video. And if you did, like. If you're new, subscribe. Bye bye.